What is up, guys? Your boy Chance the Man back in another video, and today we're going to be doing a tier list. Now this is basically for the competitive meta, I guess what you would call ranked, but we're not going to factor in the different modifiers. This would be just normal ranked if you get past, or if you get to diamond or past diamond. So yes, and I'll try to go a little bit quicker on this one because last one was like almost 40 minutes, so I'll be a bit quicker, but still give you a little reason why I chose the brawler there. So first off, we have Shelly. Shelly was good, probably 2 years ago, but the problem is now a lot of brawlers have their hypercharge, and she's kind of fallen down to the C tier. Now we've got Nita, which Nita is a solid brawler. She has a really good hypercharge that is extremely tanky. I would say she's good in the highest meta. She can also push people back in Brawl Ball and other game modes like that. I would say Nita is probably around the B tier. Now we have Cole, which I think Cole is actually fallen off. Cole's only good in highest, and there's a lot of better options. He still has a decent hypercharge, but I would say he's probably C tier. Now we're going to go Bull, and Bull, he isn't great at all. In fact, a lot of brawlers would just power craft him now, and he just needs just needs to do a balance change or something because he's not good. Now we got Brock, which Brock is not the best marksman. His hypercharge is still mid, but I think he's still, he's usable, but there are a lot of better options in my opinion. So I would say Brock is probably around the bottom of the... Actually, I'll put him in C tier. I think Brock's C tier. Now we have El Primo, which El Primo recently got buffed, and I think he has gone better, but I don't think he's become elite. He still has a mid hypercharge. He definitely needs some more changes. I would say he is C tier. Now we got Barley, which Barley's alright. His hypercharge is pretty decent. He has some good damage, and he's definitely a good control brawler. I would say he's in the B tier above Nita. Now we have Poco, which Poco has a solid hypercharge. But this is a really tanky meta, which I think actually makes Poco a bit better because you can pair him up with Ash, because Ash is an absolute strong brawler, and you can just pair him with these tanky comps. So I'm going to say he is up in the B tier above Nita. Now we've got Rosa, which Rosa has fallen off in my opinion. She isn't great. She doesn't have the best match for her right now, and yeah, there's just a lot of better options. I would say she's definitely D tier. Now we got Jessie, which Jessie has a really good turret, and the fact when it becomes a hypercharge, it is a big threat. I feel like she is still really good in the highest meta. You cannot leave her on the safe at all. I know that there are better options, but I think she is pretty solid. I'm even going to put her in the B tier. Now we got Dynamite, which Dynamite has an absolute broken gadget. You pair that up with a pretty good super and a hypercharge super that's absolutely deadly. I feel like there are a lot of better throwers, though. He's not a bad brawler, but there's just better options. So, for that, I think he's just going to go inside of the B tier. Now we got Tick, which Tick's alright. There's nothing crazy about him. He does have a hypercharge that keeps people away. He has a decent gadget. And then, on certain maps, he can dominate, but I think there are just better options. But I will say, he is definitely B tier. Now we got 8-Bit, which I think 8-Bit is underrated. His hypercharge helped him a bit. I wouldn't say it made him broken, because most of the time you're not going to get much value out of that turret, but 8-Bit I feel like has always been that good brawler where you can definitely use him. I would say he is probably the top of B tier. Now we got Rico, which I know Rico's been nerfed a few times, but I feel like Rico's still unbelievably broken. He does have a really good hypercharge. He can punish people. Tanks still can't really get near him. And if you had the right map, you can definitely shred his Rico. I think he's going to be an A-tier brawler. Now we got Daryl, which Daryl is pretty good. He got a hypercharge. I feel like he was already good before. Just with the 2 rolls now, it just makes him extremely, a very aggressive brawler. And there's not much you can really do about it. I think he is A-tier. Now we go with Penny, which Penny has had so many nerfs, but with that extra range, it has made her so good. And in fact, she now has a hypercharged turret, which is so tanky. I feel like she is an A-tier brawler. Now we got Carl, which Carl still doesn't have a hypercharge, which is keeping him out of the extreme, like, basically the competitive meta, in my opinion. He still has a good gadget. His super's pretty deadly, but if you stun him and interrupt his super, he can be pretty bad. I'm going to say he is B tier. Okay, now we got Jackie, and Jackie is alright, but problem is, like, her hypercharge is, it's alright, but there's just, she's been power crept, and I feel like she is a C tier brawler now. Now we have Gus, which Gus is very good. He can be paired up with a lot of aggressive brawlers. He does damage. He's a really good support brawler. In fact, I think he is the support brawler you want. So for that, I'm going to put him in the S tier. Now we got Bo. Bo is one of my favorite brawlers. The problem is he doesn't have a hypercharge, and I feel like until he gets a hypercharge, he's going to likely be around C tier. He does good damage, but that's the only thing that you can really say about it. His kit is so bad. I think he is a C tier brawler. I think top of C tier, but I think he is C tier. Now we got Ems, which Ems has a hypercharge. It's alright. Ems can definitely counter tanks. She is a good option. I don't feel like she's overpowered or anything. She's just like a B tier brawler. She is like an okay. Now we got Stu, which Stu is very strong after the buff, and now he has a hypercharge. That hypercharge has pushed him all the way to the S tier. I think he is unbelievably broken with a hypercharge. Now we got Piper, who is pretty good. I would still say she is one of the better long-range brawlers. I would say she is A tier because she does an insane amount of damage. She can literally escape. I think they did nerf one of her gadgets, her auto aimer, but still, you most of the time can confirm a kill even without that slow. Now we got Pam, which Pam's a pretty good brawler. Pam is I would say B tier because she doesn't have a hypercharge, but the fact that she's B tier and doesn't have a hypercharge, I think shows how good she really is and how good she really could be. As a brawler, I'm going to put her around, probably around the bottom, the B tier. Now we got Frank, which Frank, he's no longer completely broken, but he's still really strong, insane hypercharge. And on certain matchups, there's nothing you can do. Frank is still really good. I would say Frank is, he's definitely an A tier brawler. Now we got BB, which BB has fallen off. Her hypercharge is still pretty decent, but BB just kind of lacks a lot of things, and in my opinion, BB is likely a C tier brawler. I don't know. She's just not great. Like, yeah, you can make a few plays with her hypercharge, but I feel like there's a lot of better options. Okay, now we got B, which B has fallen off. She's definitely one of the worst when you look at long-range brawlers that you need, and she's just, her kit's pretty good, but she just doesn't have a hypercharge. So for that, she's definitely C tier. Now we have Nani, which Nani is alright, but they did just buff up her stats because her hypercharge wasn't that good, and I feel like it just didn't change really anything. Like, she's still, the hypercharge is still bad, but she was already a decent brawler enough, so she's definitely B tier. Now we got Edgar, which Edgar is he's just bad. When he had his hypercharge, he was really good, but now the fact that almost everyone has their hypercharge, he's basically going to the spot where he used to be, which is near the F tier. In fact, yeah, no, he's right next to the F tier. Now we have Griff, which Griff is very good. He can pump out a lot of damage. He has a pretty good super. He has a great gadget where he can break open the walls. He can be used on a few modes here and there. I would say he's towards the top of the B tier. Now we got Grom, which Grom is the worst thrower because you can pretty much easily dodge a shot. He doesn't have a hypercharge. There's just a lot of things that aren't great about him. I would definitely say he is in the T tier. Now we got Bonnie, which Bonnie has needed a buff for a long time. She hasn't got one. No hypercharge. She isn't good at all. Like, she's really bad. She's definitely D tier. Now we got Gale, which Gale got nerfed so many times, and I thought he wouldn't be good But no, his job is way too good. His kit's so good, it does not matter. You can't pump out damage, you can't get near him, and by the time you do, you've charged it like 2 supers if you're a tank. He's so good. He is definitely A tier. He can shut down any aggressive brawler. Now we got Colette, which Colette's pretty good in the highest meta. That's mainly what she's used for. Her hypercharge is pretty good, but I feel like there are brawlers that can do a lot better than what she can do. Now, she still does a good job if you need a brawler to stop a tank, but I would say she's around the top of the B tier. Now we've got Belle, which Belle is a pretty solid brawler, a great hypercharge. I mean, not great, but you will always hit it. You can get some consistent damage. She has a long range. She's one of the better marksmen. I feel like you got to put her up in the B tier, probably high up there. Middle, yeah. Now we've got Ash. Ash is unbelievably broken. You know, his hypercharge is super strong. Also, they buffed up his range. He is so good. He's just like a very aggressive brawler, and there's not much you can do about it if he gets near you. If you don't have a tank counter, he is just going to absolutely shred through you. He is 100% S tier. Now we've got Lola, which I feel like Lola has been a pretty mid brawler. She's not bad. She can definitely be used in certain places. She doesn't have a hypercharge, which basically keeps her out of the A tier, but she's definitely a B tier brawler, a solid brawler. You can definitely choose. Now we've got Sam, and Sam's an alright brawler in my opinion. I don't feel like he's amazing. I mean, look at there are some insane Sams, but most people are not an insane Sam. I just feel like you can make a few plays, but you can't make amazing plays, and I just think he really is a C tier brawler. Now we have Mandy, which Mandy, if she's standing still, obviously she has a lot of great range, but she doesn't have a hypercharge. I don't feel like she's bad, but I feel like she's definitely a B tier brawler, definitely towards the bottom. Now we got Maisie, which Maisie's not bad at all. I'm pretty sure they actually recently buffed Maisie. And I think that buff actually put her in the A tier. She has a good hypercharge. Her super, like, she can shut down people. I mean, she's been really good. Well, she sucked for a while, but she's been buffed. She's really good now. She hits really hard, and there's not much you can really do if you're a tank. Now we got Hank, which Hank got buffed. I think he got the tank trait or whatever. He still sucks. Like, literally, he's terrible. He also have a hypercharge, and I feel like even if he did, he probably still wouldn't be that good. Now we have Pearl, which Pearl is great inside the knockout, and I think even highest meta. So yeah, Pearl's been pretty good there. Her hypercharge isn't great, but her super is punishing if you are an assassin or a tank trying to get up to her. There's not much you can really do if you charge up her super. Her gadget's also not bad. I know it's been nerfed a few times, but she's a pretty solid brawler. I would say, though, she is a B tier. Now we have Lori and Laurie. Lori and Laurie have been good for so long, and they're still unbelievably broken. The gadget's really good. The super's really good. He pumps out a lot of damage. You get double shots. Doesn't have a hypercharge yet. He's still broken. And yeah, I would say easily A tier brawler. Now we got Angelo, which Angelo is pretty dang good. His super still takes a long time to charge, but still it's alright. But mainly he just can hit so hard. He can go over water, which is basically gives him great versatility. You can basically play him on almost every single map because of the fact that he can go over water. Yeah, he's really good. I mean, obviously you want to stay away from bushy maps, but I would say he's pretty good and he's up in the A tier. Now we've got Barry. Barry is absolutely broken. I mean, look, you got a hypercharge, and it's so strong. I mean, literally, you can just heal for days. You don't even really need to fight, like go on hot zone, and just pair it up with an Ash, and you will literally never lose. You just constantly shoot and heal your teammate the entire time. You don't even have to do anything else, and just absolutely just dominate the game. Definitely top of A tier. Now we've got Mortis. Mortis' hypercharge, I believe, has been nerfed a few times, but I still think it's pretty decent. But obviously there are a lot of better assassins than Mortis. But Mortis is still at the same time, I feel like a really solid brawler. I mean, look, there are some people who are insane at Mortis, which you can make him work almost in any situation, but I feel like Mortis is an alright brawler. For that, I'm going to probably put him in the B tier. Now we've got Tara, which Tara got a hypercharge super. It's actually really good. I would say she can definitely shut down a lot of tanks, and because of her hypercharge super, I think it puts her up in the B tier. Now we have Gene, which Gene is extremely good. I would say, I mean, he can definitely stop tanks. He has long range. He stops people from healing. So what's not to love about Gene? I feel like Gene is a top brawler. Though I think he's more of like the lines of like a B tier brawler. Now we've got Max, and Max is pretty good, I would say. Max just has a really good hypercharge. That's the main reason why she's super good. You can just pair her with an aggressive comp, and then you can actually just dominate. Alright, now we have Mr. P. Mr. P is really bad. I mean, well, he has decent damage, but his super is not great. There's just not a lot of good things about Mr. P. Mr. P is horrible. He doesn't even have a hypercharge. He's definitely F tier. Now we have Sprout, which Sprout, he's not bad, but there are a lot of better options for throwers. I mean, sure, you can put up a wall, but yeah, there's just nothing great about Sprout. I would say he is probably B tier, though. Now we have Byron, which Byron is alright. I mean, if you pair him up with these aggressive comps, though, which is what you need to do, he can get carried. I feel like he, on his own, he's alright, but he's not meant for that. He's a support brawler, but I feel like with an aggressive brawler like Ash in the mix, you definitely, or a Daryl, you definitely want to use him. I feel like mainly because of that, he is a great support brawler, A tier. Now we got Squeak, which Squeak got a hypercharge, and it's pretty decent. I don't feel like Squeak's overpowered, but I feel like you gotta look his way on certain modes, especially if you want to control an area. So for that, you gotta put him up in the B tier. Now we have Lou, which I believe Lou received a buff on his reload speed, which I think definitely made him a bit better. And I feel like you can get more consistent. You're gonna get his supers a lot faster than usual, which is the name of the game for Lou. You get a super, you can literally just control an area for so long. I feel like Lou is a really good option. I don't think Lou is unbelievably broken, but I would definitely say he is pretty strong in the fact that he can charge a super a lot faster now because of the extra reload speed. Wait, we have two Byrons. Okay, well, nope, we're bringing him down there. Now we have Russ. Russ, a lot of people don't like to use him. His hypercharge is not bad at all. I feel like he is still like a mid-brawler, though. Just nothing insane about him. He mainly relies on his teammates. Now we have Buzz, which Buzz is an alright brawler. He's definitely not the best assassin, though. And I just feel like, sure, you can make a few plays with him with his hypercharge super, but there's a lot of better options, and he's not great right now. Definitely C tier. Actually, BB's back there. Now we have Fang, which Fang is not great. It feels like there's just a lot of better assassins, and for that, he's basically fallen off. I think he's definitely a C tier brawler. He's not really competitive. I mean, sure, you can make good plays with him, but if you're actually picking and drafting, you can definitely draft around a Fang and absolutely counter him. Now we got Eve, which Eve just got a hypercharge. Her hypercharge is very strong. You've got to use it. If no one hits it and interrupts, she does so much damage. She pushes people back, and literally half the time I can charge half of a super from a hypercharge super of Eve's, and then I just get another one and then another one. I feel like she's really good. I'm gonna put her in the A tier. Now we got Janet, which Janet's hypercharge is very, very good. In fact, she was one of the worst brawlers, and now she is one of the best brawlers. She is an A tier brawler. Now we've got Otis, which Otis is a pretty good brawler. His hypercharge super is basically a confirmed kill. I know some people were like, why would you add that? I felt like it did make him better because not only does he got better stats, but yeah, it is 100% confirmed, and you can't complain about that, especially if you get on like a Jim Carrey or something. He can shut down brawlers pretty easily. I feel like Otis is definitely up there. Now we have got Buster, which Buster, it's not the best meta for him. He's still really good, though. He's a really good gadget. His super pushes enemies back. He can get control with certain cops. He can be pretty good, but I don't feel like, but no hypercharge, I feel like he can't be top. Now we've got Gray, which Gray is not bad at all. You can make some great plays for him, but I don't feel like on certain comps, he's absolutely broken. Like, if you pair that up with Ash, like, I don't feel like he's an S tier brawler, but I feel like he is definitely an A tier brawler. He has one of the best supers in the game. You pair that up with aggressiveness, he's definitely in the A tier. Now you've got RT, which RT is pretty solid. He can now go over water with a second super. Not sure that really helped him out much, but I know that has made him a bit more versatile than he was earlier. I do feel like he is up here. In fact, I don't know why Jin. I feel like Jin should be. Oh, my bad. I don't know if I said B tier, but I feel like Jin was supposed to be A. My bad, guys. Now we got Willow, which Willow is really, really good. And I would say Willow is up in the probably around the B tier. She doesn't have a hypercharged super yet, but she's still one of the better ones. You can make plays on Brawl Ball with that. I'm not sure that's her best game mode, but I would say, yeah, she can make some decent plays. She's right there. Now we got Doug. Doug sucks. I mean, just terrible. Literally, if you draft around him, he's just bad. He's not the worst one out of the F tiers, but he's really, really bad. Now we got Chuck. Chuck's a one-trick pony, only good in heist, and I feel like there's a lot of better options than him. Now he's still an option you got to be looking at because it's basically base race, but he's definitely a C-tier brawler. Now we've got Charlie. Charlie, I believe, got buffed, actually. And Charlie still has an insane super, but now she's pretty mid. Like, she just doesn't do a crazy amount of damage. And, yeah, I mean, you can easily get ran over if you're Charlie. She's B tier for me. Or C tier, sorry. She's C tier for me, not B tier. Now we got Miko. Miko's not great at all. I mean, in fact, like, it is really hard to time your shots. But when you can time your shots, Miko is not a threat. He's definitely D tier for me. Now we got Melody, and Melody is really good. She got a hypercharge now. I think they did make it harder for her to get her super. That does not matter. She was good before, and now she's probably even better. She is an A tier. Now we've got, right now we got Lily, guys. Lily's an alright brawler. She actually has an insane gadget. And, yeah, I mean, she can make a few good plays, but she has been nerfed quite a bit. I don't feel like her super's as lethal, but I will say she is definitely a B tier brawler. Now we got Clancy. Clancy's an alright brawler. Once he gets to stage 3, is absolutely broken. I know they did nerf his super damage in stage 3, which is good for him, but I would say he's probably still is around the B tier. Now we got Mo. Mo got nerfed to the ground. I feel like he's not even that good anymore. Like, he just got nerfed so hard. The fact is he's not great. Also doesn't have a hypercharge. He doesn't do really any damage. He's not a factor anymore. Put her towards the bottom of my bag, guys. Now we've got one of basically the newest thrower in the game. She is absolutely broken. I mean, look at her. She can literally spawn in. I don't even know what that his name is. I mean, Juju spawns in the little voodoo doll, which is really strong. Juju can go inside bushes. She can go over water and slow people, but I feel like bushes is where she's really good. She has an insane range. She's definitely, I don't know, I think she might honestly be S tier. She just has insane range for a thrower, and there's not much you can really do. Yeah, she's definitely S tier. Now we've got Spike. Spike is very, very good. Just kidding. Spike's not that great, actually, but he has a decent hypercharge. He's definitely in the B tier. Right behind Nani. Then we got Crow. Crow is a good hypercharge super. Crow's pretty solid. But yeah, I don't feel like Crow's insane. He's only good at heist, really. And that's mainly because it was hypercharge super. Otherwise, he's not great. Now we got Leon. Leon is definitely not the best assassin anymore. Like, sure, you can make a few good plays, but it takes forever to make those plays. And as long as you're just shooting in certain directions, he should never sneak up on you. I would say he is a C-tier brawler. Now we got Sandy, which Sandy's not a bad brawler. I mean, she still has a really good super, really good hypercharge super. You could definitely make plays with Sandy. I wouldn't say Sandy's broken by any means, but Sandy is pretty decent. Yeah, so I guess I don't really know where I would put. Yeah, I mean, I guess we put Sandy over here. Now we got Amber, which Amber's a pretty good brawler. She can shut down people. And, I mean, she can shut down certain lanes. She can definitely unveil some bushes. She basically has consistent damage. She is up in the A tier. Now we got Meg. Meg's range has been nerfed, which I think made her a lot worse. She's not terrible, but she's definitely not a top tier brawler. I would say she still has good enough damage to where she is B tier, but she's definitely not great. Now we got Surge. Surge has an insane hypercharge, a really good super. I mean, he can shut down tanks. He's been good for a long time, and I feel like he's still really, really good and at the top of the meta. Now we have Chester, which Chester, I believe, got nerfed. I can't remember. I know he hits like an absolute truck, though, with his star power basically getting removed and then adding something else. I know that's old news, but yes, Chester is now a pretty solid brawler in the meta. You basically make big plays with him and a lot of damage. So yeah, I would say because of that, Chester's probably an A tier. Nah, I'm gonna go with B tier brawler. Now we've got Cornelius. Cornelius is pretty good. He has a really good super, but I feel like there are a lot of better options than him. I wouldn't say he's bad, but there's a lot of better options. He just doesn't have enough damage or HP to really compete, I feel like, at the top of the top. Now we've got Kit, which I know Kit has been nerfed a few times. Kit's still usable, but I don't feel like you should go to him. He doesn't have a hypercharge, and really you have to have a certain comp to really make him work. He's not unusable, but he's definitely not amazing. We are going to put him probably in the B tier. Now we've got Draco, which Draco is not great anymore. He's not terrible. He still has a pretty good gadget, even though they've nerfed it. He has a really good super that paired up with the star power can actually go insane. I feel like he is right behind Pam, the B tier. Now we got Kenji, but Kenji's an A tier brawler. I know they've nerfed him a few times, but his super, I feel like you can easily land damage. He does a lot of good things. And yeah, I mean, even the healing, he's just really good assassin. She's going to go A tier. Now we've got Shade, and Shade is the newest brawler. I mean, I guess we're not, if we're counting Buzz Lightyear, but Buzz Lightyear's not in the rank. That's why he's not on this tier list. Now, Shade is pretty dang good. He can go through walls. He can, if you hit a critical hit, you can absolutely punish any enemy. I don't feel like he's completely broken to the S tier. They finally made a new brawler not completely broken. Now he is still really strong, but not S tier. He is definitely in the A tier in my opinion. I guess this is basically the tier list where I've done all the competitive tiers. So if you're looking like, why is Buzz not here? You literally can't choose him in ranked. So yeah, I mean, this is my most competitive tier list that I put together. If you like the video, subscribe, like. I'm trying to grow this channel. I'm trying to hit 100 subscribers. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.